I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my bros? What's good? UFC 286, a big pay-per-view card. I cannot wait to watch this card. Hey guys, I'm already stoned. If you're listening to the breakdown and you're stoned, amen. If you're listening to the breakdown and you're not stoned, amen to you too. Amen to everyone. Now guys, my bets from last week, I actually got dusted. I got dusted. I cannot remember the last time I got dusted this badly. I got dusted. And guys, looking at the MoneyCity comments, there's only two. I feel like a lot of people got dusted. But yeah guys, big shout out to Pike. Big shout out to Sean. You two are literally the only ones that went to MoneyCity. That's good for you guys, but for all of us, we got dusted. Alright, let's do it. Alright guys, first matchup on this card, we've got Veronica Hardy taking on Juliana Miller. Now, the first thing I want to say is Veronica hasn't fought since March 2020, which is not great. She is only 27 years old still, so it's not like she's missed her physical prime, but 3 years off. It's not great. Looking at Veronica's skill set, her kicking ability is not super good, it's not super bad, it's pretty okay. And kind of the same thing with her jiu-jitsu, you know, it's not super good, it's not super bad, it's okay. But guys, in my opinion, the thing with Veronica is she kind of struggles to put her weapons together. You know, she kind of looks uncomfortable. And I guess like a good reference for that would be if you go back and look at her fight against Bia Malecki. You know, she just looked very uncomfortable in this matchup. You know, using way too much energy. And you could say like, maybe it was the height and reach of Malecki that kind of unsettled Veronica in this fight. But yeah, it just didn't look good. Now guys, the opponent, Juliana Miller, this girl got to the UFC by way of the Ultimate Fighter. And I'll tell you what, I really counted her out in her UFC debut against Brogan Walker. I just really didn't expect her takedown ability to be good enough in that matchup, and I was proven wrong massively. Her takedowns were very good. Her jiu-jitsu's even better than her wrestling. You know, Juliana Miller looked very good in her UFC debut. And to be honest guys, if you look at the boxing of Juliana Miller, it's not great. But she does have a mean right hand. Like, she can throw that right hand. And if Juliana Miller's right hand does find the target, like I was saying with Veronica, you know, she kind of looks uncomfortable. And if that right hand connects, you know, that could be a weapon that kind of unsettles Veronica. But yeah, guys, what I really think with this matchup is I think there's going to be some clinching within like the first minute. Whether that's Veronica initiating the clinch or Juliana Miller initiating the clinch. I think these girls are going to clinch up. And if I'm right and we do get the clinch, I'd have to assume that Juliana Miller's physical ability, you know, her physical strength is going to be better than Veronica's. And I also believe that the technicality of Juliana Miller is going to be a couple levels above Veronica Hardy. And to be honest guys, even if Veronica gets a takedown and ends up on top, I wouldn't count out Juliana Miller's ability to sweep from the bottom. And she could also kind of work her way onto a single leg from the mat, you know, like dig an underhook, get onto the leg, reverse the position, end up on top. I just think if this matchup goes to the mat, Veronica's probably going to be in trouble. Now guys, last week I did take Lipsky at like plus 300, plus 350. And Veronica's odds are in the same region, but this time round I do believe the odds are somewhat accurate. You know, 3-year layoff for Veronica, stylistically a good matchup for Juliana Miller. I'm not going to take the big underdog this time round. So yeah, my pick's going to be Juliana Miller to win this fight by submission or to win by decision. That's my first pick. Alright guys, next matchup we've got Jai Herbert taking on Ludovit Klein. Now this is a very decent matchup because both of these guys are very decent strikers. You know, Jai Herbert seems to typically favour more output. You know, typically favours using the jab, using footwork. And that's really what he done to Francisco Trinaldo. You know, used a lot of footwork, kept him at the end of his punches, and he looked good in that matchup. He looked good until Trinaldo connects with this beautiful overhand right, and it landed flush. It landed perfectly. And that's where Jai Herbert went to the mat, and Dan Hardy was like, stop the fight, stop the fight. And obviously, you know, if a fighter's snoring on the mat, you should probably stop the fight. But yeah, Herb Dean was probably stoned. Now guys, taking a look at other matchups that Jai has had. He was exploited on the mat by Moicano. You know, a big difference in the jiu-jitsu in this matchup. So yeah, he was kind of dusted on the mat against Ilia Tapira. You know, he wasn't doing bad in this matchup. His boxing looked pretty good, and he was able to keep Ilia Tapira at the end of the strikes. You know, even landed a beautiful high kick at one point. But yeah, Ilia Tapira, as we know, this guy's a beast, and eventually he connects, and that's it for Jai Herbert. Now guys, on the flip side, looking at Ludovit Klein, I kind of feel like Ludovit's got more power than Jai Herbert, but not necessarily more output, and that kind of makes the matchup close. You know, if Jai can stick and move, he'll probably win this fight. I think it's for Ludovit to kind of force the action, you know, look to get on the inside, look to kind of make the matchup dirty, make it ugly. I feel like I've got to use the old saying, you know, gun to the head. If you put the gun to the head, M16, I'm going to side with Ludovit Klein to win this matchup. But yeah, guys, I do believe stylistically this could be a very close striking matchup. And for that reason, I'm probably just going to sit back and enjoy this fight rather than betting on this matchup. But yeah, the pick is going to be Ludovit. He cashed as a nice underdog against Devontae Smith. I took him on that one. I bet him. You know, plus 120 looked pretty good. Now, I didn't predict for Ludovit to beat Mason Jones at plus 300. I didn't bet that. I didn't predict that. And that was kind of shocking. But yeah, those two performances are arguably two of Ludovit's better performances inside the octagon. You know, look pretty good in both those fights. I think if he wants to continue the winning streak against Jai, he's probably got to force the action. You know, Jai's going to try to keep him at the end of his shots, keep him at the end of the jab, utilize a lot of footwork, show good optics, and it's for Ludovit to essentially get on the inside and land big shots. I think he can. It's a good stylistic matchup. I'm going to side with Ludovit. Alright guys, next matchup we've got Jojo taking on Luana Carolina. It does kind of feel weird that Jojo's now called Joanne Wood, you know, formerly known as Calderwood. Kind of feels weird still. But yeah guys, in my opinion, it is worth knowing that Jojo is 37 years old now. You know, getting on a little bit. And if I'm being completely honest, she hasn't looked too good. You know, I've kind of been quite disappointed with her performances. And of course, you could make the counter argument that the now champion Alexa Grasso isn't a bad loss. And you could also say that Taylor Santos, who's a big girl, you know, very difficult matchup, that's also not a bad loss. And if you're somebody that's going to make these points, I wouldn't disagree. You know, it's kind of difficult. It is very difficult to fight at the highest level. And essentially to do well at the highest level, you also need to be very good. And in my opinion, I do see a decline in Jojo's performances. Now on the flip side, Luana Carolina isn't exactly championship material. You know, she's not Alexa Grasso, she's not Santos. Probably someone that Jojo should beat. But something's kind of telling me, guys, that the underdog is probably the prediction to make. You know, Luana Carolina's a big girl, and Lupi Godinez did struggle to get takedowns on Luana. So really what I'm picturing with this matchup is a striking matchup. I really see like mainly kickboxing. And if you go look at the tape of Luana Carolina, her striking's not that bad. You know, her kicking ability is pretty good. She can strike from distance. And if I'm right with my prediction that this is going to be a striking matchup, and if I'm right that it's going to be close in the striking, I'd have to advise the underdog as the prediction. Like I said, guys, Jojo probably should beat Luana. Like, this is a win that she probably should get. But I've kind of got a feeling that it's not going to play out the way paper says it should. You know, on paper, Jojo's way more credentialed. You know, she's fought against much better competition. And we know Jojo's good. You know, she's good. But in my opinion, I do see a decline. So yeah, I'm going to side with the underdog, Luana Carolina, to win this matchup. If Jojo can prove me wrong, all the credit. You know, all the credit. But yeah, the underdog, Luana Carolina, to keep this fight at distance, use the kicks, and cash at plus money. Alright guys, moving into the next matchup, we've got Jake Hadley taking on Malcom Gordon, and I'm quite confident in saying Jake Hadley should win this matchup. You know, Malcom Gordon's cardio's not great. Midway into the fight, it kind of becomes predictable, you know, very flat-footed. Now, Jake Hadley did lose his UFC debut to Alan Nascimento, and that's probably a fight that I'll always remember as misreading. Like, I really misread that matchup. But yeah, I don't believe I'm making the same mistake. You know, Malcolm Gordon's cardio's not great, his boxing's not great, he's very beatable. Looking at Jake Hadley's most recent performance, he really did display nice pressure against Carlos Condelario. You know, the boxing pressure was very noticeable. You know, it kind of looked like he wanted to prove a point. You know, lost the UFC debut and just bounced back with a really nice win, a really nice performance. So yeah guys, whether this matchup goes to the mat or stays on the feet, I do believe Jake Hadley's jiu-jitsu's better than Malcolm Gordon's. I do believe Jake Hadley's boxing is also better than Malcolm Gordon's. I think Jake Hadley should probably win this matchup, whether it goes to the mat or stays on the feet. He should be in charge. You know, you could say I'm kind of being unfair to Malcolm Gordon, but it's just what I've seen on tape. So in my opinion, Jake Hadley, White Kong, is going to be the prediction. I think he's probably going to submit Malcolm Gordon. Alright guys, moving into the next matchup, we've got Christian Leroy Duncan taking on Dusko Todorovic. Now I didn't know who Christian Leroy Duncan is. I didn't know who this guy is, so I had to go watch all of his Cage Warriors fights. And to be honest, this guy's a very good kicker. Like, you look at the kicking ability of Duncan, it's very, very good. You know, spinning attacks up top, and they're landing flush. So yeah, the striking ability of Christian Leroy Duncan I think is pretty good. Now something that I don't think is too good about Duncan, you know, he is only 7-0 as a professional. One thing that's not good, his takedown defense. You can get this guy to the mat. And if Dusko Todorovic has got the mindset like, I'm going to bring you to the mat, you know, make this debut a difficult debut, you know, bring you into a dogfight, take you to the mat and just look for ground and pound. And if Dusko Todorovic has that type of game plan, then he might be successful. But one major weakness about Dusko Todorovic is his striking defense is very, very bad. You know, specifically the head movement is pretty non-existent. His head is a magnet for punches. On the other side, you've got Christian Leroy Duncan, who's only 7-0 as a professional. His takedown defense isn't good. So really, you've got to weigh up the options. You know, you're going to take the newcomer to exploit the striking defense of Dusko Todorovic? Or are you going to take Dusko Todorovic to exploit the takedown defense of Duncan? So yeah guys, it's always going to come down to who can impose their will. So yeah, in my opinion, a risky matchup to bet. I'm going to side with Duncan though. I'll take the newcomer. Alright guys, moving into the next matchup, we've got Lerone Murphy taking on Gabriel Santos. Now I'm quite confident that Lerone Murphy is going to win this matchup. But I do want to say the two ways that I think Santos could potentially upset Murphy. And the first way could be, let's say Santos is landing the calf kick over and over and over. You know, if Santos can land the calf kick and really compromise the movement of Lerone Murphy, maybe that's a way to win the matchup. Now the second way I think Santos could potentially win, guys, when you look at the jiu-jitsu of an Englishman against a Brazilian, there's a bit of a difference. The grappling of the English is not the best. Has it improved? Absolutely. It's improved massively. Like guys, if you look at the grappling work of UK fighters like 10 years ago, it's a big difference. We've improved. We've got much better. So I think that's potentially another way that Santos could win on his UFC debut, you know, take the back of Lerone Murphy. So those are really the two ways that I think Santos could do well in the matchup. However, if the calf kick is not landing and Santos doesn't take the back, doesn't get the fight to the mat, then Lerone Murphy is going to show what we're all about. And what the English are all about is boxing. You know, we're a boxing nation. And if you look at the boxing of Lerone Murphy, it's very good. You know, his hands are very sharp. Very powerful, very technical. Lerone Murphy could potentially TKO Santos. So yeah guys, my prediction is going to be Lerone Murphy to find a TKO stoppage on the feet. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Mokaev taking on Jafel Filho. I believe it's the pronunciation, might have butchered it. But yeah, this is a good matchup because Filho does have decent BJJ. You know, his jiu-jitsu is very good and he is a training partner of Jose Aldo. And it's an interesting matchup because, as we know, Mokaev is a very, very good wrestler. You know, he likes to wrestle the opponent. Now, if you try to take down Filho, you're playing into his game. You know, Filho's got good jiu-jitsu. The wrestler tries to grapple the BJJ player. You're playing into his game. And that's why really it's a good matchup. Because we're going to see, is Mokaev willing to take Filho to the mat? You know, even in the striking, this is a good matchup because Filho's not a striker, he's a grappler, and so is Mokaev. So you've got grappler versus grappler. You're probably going to see a bit of striking I do believe the footwork and the speed of Muhammad Mokaev will show on the feet. And like I said, I don't believe Muhammad Mokaev is going to be scared to take Filho to the mat, especially when Filho starts to fatigue, you know, later in round 2. Guys, I even said Muhammad Mokaev would be a champion before he even debuted against Cody Durden. And I'm riding with Muhammad Mokaev all the way. I think this guy's going to be a champion at 125, and if you're going to do that, you've got to beat Filho. And I think he does. I think he puts in a nice 30-27 performance, potentially a stoppage. I'm going to side with Muhammad Mokaev to win this matchup. Now guys, moving into a matchup between Sam Patterson taking on Yanal Ajmoz. I might have butchered that, I probably did. Now this matchup's interesting because Sam Patterson does have a nice height and reach advantage over his opponent, but his opponent's not really a striker. His opponent's more about grappling. You know, he wants to wrestle you, wants to take you to the mat, and that's probably what Yanal's gonna do. You know, he's at a height disadvantage, a reach disadvantage. You're not gonna find too much success on the feet. And that's not saying that Sam Patterson's this world beater of a striker, but physically, we know that when you're at a big height disadvantage and a big reach disadvantage, it's more difficult. So yeah, I would expect Yanal to try to take Sam Patterson to the mat. Now guys, one thing about Sam Patterson. Last week I mentioned that Lipski kind of has the takedown defense of a newborn baby giraffe. If you look at Sam Patterson's neck, this guy's got a giraffe neck, which kind of means the head is up in the air. You know, the head is square in the air. He doesn't really tuck his chin. And guys, we know that when the chin is up in the air, that's a recipe for disaster. Now, is it going to be a recipe for disaster against Yanal Ajmoz? Probably not. You know, this probably isn't the opponent to exploit the chin of Sam Patterson being up in the air. So really it's going to be wrestler in Yanal Ajmoz taking on Sam Patterson, who should probably look to keep this fight standing. I know Sam Patterson had a nice submission win on the Contender Series, but yeah, you want to keep this fight on the feet. Both of these guys are pretty new to mixed martial arts. You know, 12 professional fights taking on 6 professional fights. I don't really want to bet this matchup. But yeah, guys, gun to my head, I'm going to take giraffe neck Sam Patterson to win this matchup. I think he can keep the matchup on the feet, and essentially it's going to be difficult for Yanal to land those shots. So yeah, my prediction's going to be giraffe neck Sam Patterson to win the matchup. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Chris Duncan taking on Omar Morales. Now guys, this is interesting because Omar Morales is really a fighter that I respect. Like, his kickboxing is very, very good. Technically good, power's good. Yeah, Omar Morales, good striker. And it's interesting because when you look at the opposition that Morales has lost to, Chikadze, one of the best strikers in the UFC. Jonathan Pierce, one of the best grapplers in the UFC. Uros Medic, arguably his worst loss, to be honest. But yeah guys, Omar Morales is really a fighter that I do respect. He is 37 years old, but man, the striking's good, the power's good. On the flip side, Chris Duncan got completely dusted, total dusteration on the Contender Series. You know what I'm saying? Slava Claus was like, yo, let me just dust you real quick, and then I'm going to show the people my dance, you know, my little Slava dance. For me guys, like, I respect Omar Morales too much to pick Chris Duncan to win this matchup. I just think if Chris Duncan can beat Omar Morales, like, that's not a good look. That is not a good look. Like, losing to Chikadze, that's okay. Losing to Jonathan Pierce, that's okay. Losing to Chris Duncan, that's not a good look. See, I'm going to side with Omar Morales to, like, prove he can beat Chris Duncan. You know, Chris Duncan's octagon name's the problem, but I don't really see Chris Duncan causing too many problems. Yeah, I'm going to side with Morales to win this matchup. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Jack Shaw taking on Makwan Amir Khani. Guys, I know I keep saying every matchup is interesting, but really these matchups are interesting. Both of these guys are very, very good grapplers. You know, Makwan Amir Khani does have really, really bad cardio. Like, his cardio's always been pretty terrible. But putting that to the side, his grappling's good. His jiu-jitsu's good. His wrestling's good. You know, the real problem is just he can't seem to do it over 15 minutes. You know, he gets tired. And against Jack Shaw, a guy who is also a very good grappler, Jack Shaw's jiu-jitsu is very good. Against Jack Shaw, it's like, you know, you're probably going to be out-grappled later in the fight. And that's not really to say that Jack Shaw is like hundreds or tens of levels above Makwan when it comes to jiu-jitsu. It's not to say that. It's just to say that at the end of round 2, going back to the corners, you know, Jack's going to be ready for the 3rd round, whereas Makwan's going to be fatigued, tired, and that's the real difference. You know, Makwan's cardio's not good. Jack Shaw, he does have good cardio. Now guys, the only time I've picked against Jack Shaw was his most recent fight, and that was because Ricky Simone was plus 150. You know, we can't be disrespecting Ricky Simone like that. But Makwan Amirkhani, I don't see him causing much of a problem for Jack Shaw. You know, the only real way I see Makwan winning the matchup is like the quick anaconda choke or a quick guillotine choke. If that doesn't happen for Makwan Amirkhani, he probably gets dominated later on. You know, round 1 it could be pretty 50-50. You could be thinking to yourself watching the fight, why is Jack Shaw such a big favourite? But then you get halfway into round 2 and you see the fatigue. You know, you see the difference in cardio and you're like, okay, I get it. Jack Shaw's got a really nice jab. His calf kicks are good. His boxing is just, it's good. It's standard. You know, Jack's not really looking to do anything too fancy. His striking's very basic and his jiu-jitsu's very good. And that makes Jack Shaw like a pretty solid fighter. You know, Makwan's got the cardio problems. And because of that, I do believe Jack Shaw probably gets a late stoppage or a clear decision win. So yeah, my pick's gotta be Jack Shaw. Hey guys, you could say that I'm sure that Jack Shaw would win. Okay. Hey guys, you know what it is. If you waited to smoke with me, it's an amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, it's a double amen. If you're not a smoker, but you still enjoy the smoke breaks, it's always been a triple amen gang. Let's go. Now guys, 2 questions. Can I get an amen? Can I get a MoneyCity? Okay. And that's why you're the gang. Right there, that's why you're the gang. Now guys, I'm gonna do some promotions with this smoke break. The first promotion, check out Andy Mush Pictures. This brother's a subscriber of the channel and he's just started doing breakdowns, so check him out. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to his channel, let him know what you think about his breakdowns, give him some feedback. Now the second advertisement's gonna be free UFC bet picks. One of my brothers, go to his Instagram, check his page. He puts in the work. He puts in the work. Check it. The next promotion's gonna be West Hill Death. Go to his Instagram, check it out. If you love UFC, you're gonna love this page. Really, just go to the page and check it. Alright, 2 more. MMA Theory. If you love UFC, if you love mixed martial arts, again, check it out. This guy's great. One thing I really love about MMA Theory is his writing is really good. And the final one's gonna be UFC Forecast on YouTube. Another channel that's just starting out, making predictions, making bets. Check it. So yeah, that's the smoke break on this one. None of these people paid me to do that, and none of them know that I did that. But yeah, it's good to promote. You know what I'm saying? Bring those people up. You know what I'm saying? And when they get up, they're gonna bring others up. You know what I'm saying? It's good stuff. Moving into a very, very good matchup between Marvin Vettori taking on Roman Dolidze. Now guys, Roman, he keeps winning as an underdog, you know, keeps defying the odds, keeps showing us, look, my jiu-jitsu's good, my grappling's good. Or even when he doesn't get the takedown, you know, against the fence, big knee against Kyle Dorcas. I took Roman there like plus 200. I took him against Phil Hawes like plus 150. But I didn't take him against Jack Hermansson. And he did win that matchup, and he was an underdog. Now guys, really the way for Dolidze to win this matchup, I'm not sure how good he's going to do against Vettori in the stand-up. But there is one thing I know about Roman Dolidze. His jiu-jitsu is very, very good. And I know Marvin Vettori has competed against very good competitors. And Marvin's grappling is, you know, it's decent. But if you're Marvin Vettori, you do not want to go to the mat. Do not go to the mat with Roman Dolidze. So really, I do believe if Roman Dolidze is going to win the matchup, you got to bring Vettori to the mat. And if Vettori's going to win the matchup, you've got to stay on the feet. Now guys, like I said, Roman Dolidze's last 3 fights, he's been an underdog. He's an underdog again, plus 220. Am I going to side with the underdog? Am I going to do it? No, I'm not. I'm taking Marvin Vettori. In my opinion, guys, Marvin Vettori, the guy might be a meathead. He might have put his shorts on backwards. But I think he beats Roman Dolidze. So yeah, I'm going to side with the Italian Dream to keep the fight on the feet and to essentially show Roman, look, I'm a good striker, I'm tough, and you're not going to be using your BJJ in this matchup. I'm taking Vettori. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Jennifer Maia taking on Casey O'Neill. Now guys, I took Jennifer Maia as an underdog against Marina Moroz. She showed to have a good performance. You know, the punches were good, the boxing was good. If Jennifer Maia can keep the fight standing, she might be able to do damage. And even if this fight goes to the mat, you gotta remember Jen Maia, she is a black belt. So really this is a good test for Casey. You know, she's competing against somebody who's got more experience. She's competing against a black belt. She's competing against a good boxer. Competing against someone that's been in there with Valentina. But guys, there's one thing I really like about the game of Casey O'Neill. Her cardio. Her cardio is very, very good. You know, if this fight's 1-1 and we're heading into the last round, I want my bet ticket to say Casey O'Neill. You know what I'm saying? Her cardio's good, man. And her jiu-jitsu's good. You know, if Jen Maia's tired, round 3, Casey O'Neill ends up on top. She wins the round. She wins the last round. Casey O'Neill's good. I think Jen Maia's also good. I'm siding with Casey O'Neill. Like I said guys, I do believe the major difference in this matchup is going to be cardio. You know, some people might side with the experience of Jen Maia. I liked her as an underdog against Marina Moroz, but this time round, it's difficult. So yeah, my pick's going to be Casey O'Neill to win the matchup. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Bryan Barberena taking on Gunnar Nelson. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. Guys, if you want me to give a prediction based on who's got more chance, I'm going to side with Nelson. But if you want me to give you a prediction based on where you should really put your money based on value, which is what you should do with gambling, then my prediction's going to be Bryan Barberena. You know, it's kind of similar to last week with Lipski. I know everyone took JJ because JJ is much better than Lipski. And some people now are going to think like Lipski's better than JJ, which is funny. But yeah, with gambling, it's not really who's better. It's more to do with which line is the better risk to reward. You know, Bryan Barberena's not a good bet if he doesn't have more than a 25% chance, because 25% is a representation of plus 300. So if Bryan Barberena's got less chance than plus 300, then he's not going to be a good bet. But in my opinion, if he stays off the mat, he's got a better chance than 25%. Obviously, if it goes to the mat, Gunnar Nelson's going to wrap his neck like a blunt. You know what I'm saying? He's going to wrap him up. And that's because Gunnar's got brilliant jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I've not taken too many underdogs on this card. I'm going to give you a big underdog, just like last week. Lipski plus 300. And I'm going to go Bryan Barberena plus 300. I know some people ain't going to like that prediction, but if he stays off the mat, big if, he's got a better chance than 25%. And that's why I'm going to side with a big underdog here in Bryan Barberena. Alright, this is it. Justin Gaethje taking on Rafael Fiziev. The co-main event. This is a great co-main event. I don't need to introduce Justin Gaethje. You know who Justin Gaethje is. You know Justin Gaethje. This guy's the highlight. This guy's willing to die. This guy's a madman. And the great thing about Justin Gaethje is like, he's kind of become more technical. Like, he's still a madman, don't get me wrong. He's a madman. He's kind of like become more technical with the madness. You know, it's made him even better. And that's what's so great about this matchup, because Fiziev is unbelievable too. One of the best Muay Thai strikers. One of the best. And I know some people will be like, well, Justin Gaethje's got a really good calf kick. Justin Gaethje's a really good calf kicker. But guys, make no mistake. Make no mistake. Justin Gaethje is not going to be kicking Fiziev. He's not going to be kicking Fiziev. You're not going to get away with kicks against a Muay Thai pro. No way. You know, maybe a couple kicks here and there, but Fiziev is the kicker. Don't get it twisted. Guys, really what Justin's got to do to win this matchup, in my opinion, he's got to starch Fiziev. You know, because Gaethje's not going to wrestle the opponent. We know he doesn't do that. And in my opinion, he's not going to be kicking the opponent, causing those types of problems like he normally does. So really, for Justin to win this matchup, in my opinion, he's got to starch Fiziev, and I don't see it. I do not see it. Guys, I just believe Fiziev is just too good with his Muay Thai. Too good. Like, guys, I know Justin Gaethje is going to be Fiziev's biggest test to date. Like, that's a fact. I think he's going to starch Gaethje. I think he's going to TKO him. That's my prediction. Kamaru Usman, the former champion, taking on Leon Rocky Edwards. Oh my goodness. Right guys, we should probably speak about the last matchup. Like, that would make sense. Breaking down this matchup, we should speak about what happened. Now, in my opinion, what happened is Leon won round 1. Now, after Leon won the first round, Usman proceeded to win the rest of the fight. He won the rest of the fight, right up into the point where Leon went bang, headshot dead. You know what I'm saying? Usman shake left, shake right. Now you're in the ambulance. You know what I'm saying? You got dusted. You got dusted. So guys, really the facts are Leon Edwards can beat Usman, and Usman has proven that he can beat Leon Edwards. Those are facts. So really, as the gambler, you've got to decide, what is the chance that Usman wins? What is the chance that Leon wins? It's up to you guys. You got to pick that. Now obviously I got to pick that too. Is this a 50-50 matchup? No, it's not. I do not believe that if Leon fought Usman 10 times or even 100 times, I do not believe it would be 5 apiece or 50 apiece. I don't believe that. Guys, in my opinion, I think Usman would win this fight like 7 times out of 10. Around 7 times out of 10. And that's essentially because Usman's got very, very good wrestling. You know, typically his IQ is very high. And I know it didn't really seem like that towards the end of round 5. You know, shake left, shake right. Ambulance, dusted, headshot, boom, dead. But that's what makes mixed martial arts so great. You know, it makes it so great because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. You're watching the fight. You think you know who's going to win. Bang. You know, it makes mixed martial arts so great. But guys, in my opinion, as a gambler, I do believe Usman is better than Leon Edwards. Guys, I'm siding with Usman. And guys, I know Leon Edwards, he's got super good boxing. I know this guy's rocky. I know this guy's got the don't let him bully your son. I know he's got that. But guys, this is Usman. This is the Nigerian nightmare. You know, this guy's one of the best. And some people typically leave comments when I break down London cards and you're like, oh, you're only picking the English fighters, you're biased. This is proof right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking Usman. I think he's better. I think he wins around 70%. And that's it. I cannot wait to watch though. I cannot wait. Guys, if I'm wrong and Rocky does win this matchup, check the TKO prop. The TKO prop is going to smack. There's no submission. There's no decision. He's got a TKO Usman again. Can he do it? I cannot wait. Roll on Saturday. Let's go. As always, my bros, drop down your MoneyCity comments. Keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Enjoy the card. Peace.